show with me, your host, Leah Roling. Do you believe you are capable of choosing your future? Sometimes it takes just one person to believe in you, or you to believe in yourself. If you find yourself continuing to say, someday I will take better care of myself, only to continue living the same day over and over and over again, then you, my friend, are in the right place. I am your biggest cheerleader, inspiring you to become you on purpose and with intention. Are you ready to create a life you love? I'm excited to share with you some big ideas that you can use today to inspire, impact, and influence your life and everyone in it. The Becoming You show starts now. And how are you? Happy Friday. Guess what? Guess what this is? This is episode number 10. Now I know it doesn't seem like that many, right? I watch podcasters that are releasing their 500th podcast, but 10 is more than I ever thought I would do. So I'm celebrating that with you today. I appreciate all of the reviews and the likes and the comments. I really do. I like to think that we are on this journey together. So every like, every share, every comment, star gets us closer to our goal to inspire, impact, influence one person at a time, starting with ourselves. So if you wouldn't mind, if you enjoy being on this journey with me, invite all of your favorite people, invite all of the people that you want to live this life with, and we can all be on this journey together. It truly does expand our reach, our impact. So this is what I want to talk about today. How can we be the calm in the storm? So often we get pulled into uncertainty, into chaos, into drama, into overwhelm. We spin in the something has gone terribly wrong fear. And if we are not conscious, we lose our center. If we have not already on purpose decided how we're going to show up, we will most likely spin out. Life is going to throw things at you. It is. No amount of worry, precaution, and or preparation will prevent it. It is nothing that you can outrun or find away. Storms will happen. Pandemics, lost loved ones, getting fired, car accidents, divorces, illnesses, bullying, missed flights, heartaches, abuse, addictions, and other people's agency will happen. Here's the question. Can you hold your center? Can you find your calm amidst the storm? Can you summon your steady? It is not something that you outsource or purchase. Sorry, it's nothing that you can prime to your door. Rather, it is something that you cultivate, that you practice. I'm hoping to teach you how to do that today. It becomes part of your personality, a way of being, a state of being. You get to decide ahead of the storm how you will show up. About a year ago, my husband, me, Levi, Logan, we were all watching something on TV. I don't even remember what it was. We heard what seemed to sound like rain, but it didn't appear to be coming outside of our home, rather in it. We got up, we went downstairs where we were, and we were greeted with a downpour of water seemingly coming from the upstairs. The source apparent, our bathroom on the main floor. We rushed upstairs and we shut off the bath and immediately collected every single towel in the home that we had. Everyone in the family went to work, wiping down the walls, uncertain as to the damage. Chaotic for sure. Levi and I were wiping down the walls in the basement bath, and he said to me, "Mom, as long as we keep calm, as long as we keep cool, we will be okay." I told him 100%. No amount of dramatics or anger or blame was going to help. Logan felt bad enough. And I can almost guarantee you that he will never leave the bath water running unattended again. This isn't something that I wouldn't have ever been able to have done, even just 5 years earlier. I would have been angry and frustrated. I would have lost my cool. I would have projected an immense amount of blame on Logan, who was already deep in his own shame. This is work that I have done on purpose because calm feels better. It doesn't make me better. It feels better for me. It feels better for my family. If I would have gotten all worked up, mad and angry, assigning blame and giving everyone else permission to dump more blame, we would have not worked together as a family to mitigate the damage, both structurally and, more importantly, emotionally. You get to commit to who you want to be in any situation. You get to decide how you want to show up in disagreements with your spouse. You get to decide how you will react after you have asked your child numerous times to do the laundry, to unpack the dishwasher, to clean up their rooms. You get to decide what kind of wife you want to be, what kind of mom, sister, friend, neighbor. I want to be loving, and I can be loving in chaos. I want to be compassionate. I can be compassionate in uncertainty, and I can laugh. I can find humor in it. Maybe not in that exact moment, but maybe. Do you ever find yourself saying, one day this will be funny? Why can't this day be that day? I get it. I'm not saying it's easy. I'm not saying that I broke out into hysterics watching water pour through my ceiling. But what we are able to laugh at once we had the damage at bay was two things. One, Logan had completely forgotten about the bath when his buddy popped over to play basketball. And then he continued to forget 3 hours later while taking a shower, unsure of why there was no more hot water left. Funny number two, post-flood, Levi has Logan in his phone as Tsunami. Now, that's kind of funny, right? So that is the first thing I want you to know about being the calm in the storm. You get to choose to be steady. You get to choose to be calm, to be collected, to be centered as a state of being. You get to choose that for yourself. And here's what else I want you to know. It doesn't matter if it wasn't modeled for you. It doesn't matter if you were not taught to keep your cool. You are not your conditioning. You are not your stories. You are also not a mirror of how chaos was handled in your past. How your parents handled conflict doesn't have to dictate how you handle conflict. So much of who it is that we are today is just reactionary programming modeled after those that we surrounded ourselves by. Think about it. How did your dad handle conflict? How did your mom? How did your siblings? How about your grandparents, your uncles, your aunts, your teachers, your friends? I'm guessing if you spend some time thinking about how each of these influencers handled struggle, you might gain some insights into why it is that you handle struggle the way you do. Now, I say this a lot. This is not for you to judge yourself for not being cool, calm, and collected. It's also not an invitation to blame those in your life for not role modeling steady better. It is an opportunity to explore with curiosity how you are currently showing up and decide how you want to. Once we know better, we can do better. My mom single-handedly raised my sister, Donna, who is 6 years older than me, and my brother, Bob, who was 4 years older than me. I was the baby. My brother has a seizure disorder ever since he was 18 months old. These seizures stemmed from a spinal meningitis diagnosis that literally almost took his life. These seizures were not the mini mall types. They were grand malls, which means you have to support his neck and head and remove his glasses and unbuckle his belt and pack him in cold packs and cold rags. They also came without any sort of warning. So he could be walking and all of a sudden have a seizure, leaving him head down, head cut open, glasses, bones broken. It was truly all up for discovery. You never knew how long they were going to last. You never knew if you were going to have to call for an ambulance or if he was going to come out of them. If he went to the hospital, you never knew how long he was going to be there, sometimes overnight, sometimes a few days, sometimes weeks. I watched my mom handle these seizures, hundreds to date, as if they were paper cuts. I'm quite sure if there was a cool and calm and collected award, she would have won it. Our responses to chaos, conflict, and confrontation are learned, which is the best news ever, because if it is learned, it can also be unlearned. Neural pathways can be unwired and refired, which means you can decide who you want to be when bathtubs run over, when you have disagreements with loved ones, or when you're faced with more serious situations like grand mal seizures. Once we understand that our reactions to situations are possibly borrowed, we can just give them back to the rightful owner. If they do not serve you, you could just give them back. Did you know you could just do that? You don't even have to be mad. You could just choose a different reaction, one consciously crafted by you. If we don't, what I see happen all too often is we dramatize the situation and we make it 10 times harder on ourselves to get center, to find center. We feel validated in victim status, and then we spin in the drama of it all. We start proving ourselves right that something has terribly gone wrong. And then with one situation, we find all sorts of proof that validates our victimhood, not just in that situation alone, but with our life. We separate ourselves from those we love. We double down on the emotion, and we get stuck in what I call the crisis loop. So let's go back to the bathtub incident. Let's just say I reacted poorly to the situation. And trust me, it happens. Want to know why? Well, it's because I'm a human mom, not a robot mom. Sometimes I show up pretty okay. I work hard at practicing calm, but sometimes I'm a hot mess. So let's just say messy gets the best of me, and I get super frustrated with Logan, and I start yelling at him and telling him how angry I am at him and how disappointed I am. Then that carries over to me yelling at the other kids to do more, to hurry more, to get more towels. Then they get mad at me for yelling at them when they didn't do anything wrong. And then they get mad at Logan for making this mess in the first place. Then it gets really messy, as if the bathroom wasn't mess enough alone. I get angry at myself for being angry, doubling down on the emotion, spinning into the blame. Logan shouldn't have done that. How stupid. And then I come right back to shame. I shouldn't have yelled at everyone. This loop, this is the crisis loop, and this loop is super hard to free ourselves from, because it doesn't just stop with blame, Logan, shame, me. Oh no, it then goes and starts collecting evidence, copy for another chapter in our book titled, My Life is Not What I Thought It Should Be, chapter 12. This is a version of what that chapter might look like. My son ran the bath over, and I'm a horrible mom that didn't have any oversight on the bath occurrence, that I didn't notice it earlier. Where the hell was I? If I was a better mom, I would have taught him not to leave a running bathtub. If he was a better son, he would have known that. Good moms teach their kids these things. Now everyone is mad at each other, and there is so much damage. It's going to cost a fortune, and our insurance is going to go up, and I'm going to have to take time off of work to get it all figured out. And who knows if the tile is going to need replaced. I'm sure the drywall is ruined, and that will need to be replaced. Then we will have to repaint. Dollar signs add up. In my life, scarcity grab holds, money scarcity. How much will this cost? Time scarcity. I don't have the time to deal with this. Connection scarcity, disconnecting from all of my kids and myself. Life scarcity. This is my life? Then your brain spins into what else could go wrong. And guess what? Your brain will show you. Your eyes see what your brain looks for. So then my brain weaves this little story. I'm sure that our house will not be sellable because we have water damage, and then we'll be upside down on our mortgage, and we will never be able to afford college or retirement. Wait, what? Yes, this is what happens if we give our brain the permission to get caught in this loop. This is what happens when you tolerate reacting to this life. This loop is toxic, and it sabotages our life. It doesn't just validate a single situation. It confirms our fear that yes, something has gone terribly wrong, and this something is called our life. See why it's so important to choose on purpose our reaction? I could have panicked in the situation, but even panic, I could have showed up with a thought like, I've got this, we are capable, let's go, versus, oh no, something terrible has gone wrong. This always happens to me. Why me? One is empowering, the other disempowering. We all have stressful situations that happen in our life. How we respond to them, completely up to you. Many times we give the meaning to the situation, right, is less toxic, right, than the meaning we give to the emotion of the situation, right? The latter is completely unnecessary. Let me give you an example. I was recently coaching a client that managed several directors and teams. To say that she had a stressful week might be an understatement. She had people quit, lie, steal, and just not show up for work. The meaning she gave to this situation was that it was a lot to handle in 1 week and that it was stressful. Okay, agreed. That in of itself, stressful all day, I'll give her that. And if we were coaching on that, we could have unpacked it much quicker. But all too often what happens is we give more meaning to the emotion that we created by the situation. My client gave more meaning to the stress that she had than the situation that created the stress in the first place. She made the stress mean that she wasn't capable of handling it, that she didn't want to do this work anymore, that this was all she has ever done and who would hire her. And she spun out in a full-fledged panic for purpose attack. Now that we uncovered that was what had many weeks had looked like that for her in the 15 years, right? Many weeks. She had a similar, if not way worse situations, right? And yet she was still capable of handling it. If we don't make stress mean that we're ill-equipped and incapable, then we can tap into our capabilities and solve for the stressful situation with confidence in the now, right? As we unpacked more, we realized that the reason that she was spiraling was that she had not been protecting her energy. Now, most people that know me and the work that I do might assume that teaching mindset is the very most important habit, I should say, to cultivate, but it's not. More than mindset, energy is king. If you don't protect it, if you don't restore it, you don't have the energy to do the mindset work required. You don't have the energy to choose your be state on purpose. You don't have the energy to redirect your chosen story. It is much easier to take the one that you inherited, right? No mindset work is required to live in the chapters of your past. So, how are you protecting your energy truly? What are you doing specifically to protect it? What are you listening to? Is it inspiring or is it energy sucking? Does it leave you feeling better or bitter? What are you watching, seeing? Is it motivating or stressful? What clutter are you allowing in your life? Did you know clutter robs you of your energy? Physical clutter, yes, stuff, all the stuff. All the clothes, all the shoes, all the makeup, all the hair supplies, all the nail polishes, all the hangers, the purses, the bins and the bins and the bins of what? Stuff. Emotional clutter. What emotions are you allowing to fester unfelt? Friends, we waste so much time and energy trying to not feel. The goal of this life is not to not feel, but to process your feelings through. It's a podcast for a couple of weeks. I'm super excited to share it with you. Mental clutter. How much are you taking in, whether it be through social media or movies or TV or podcasts or the news? Now, I'm all about it if it is informing and inspiring and educational, but so much of what we take in is garbage. It's divisive and it's toxic. I'm not here to tell you what to watch or take in. I just want you to be mindful of how it affects you. Temporal clutter, time. How much of it do you waste in distractions? Oh man, I have a lot to say about this. Many would say that they are not distracted, that they work entire days, and some might say that they're 100% or at least 90 or 80% productive. But I want to challenge you to consider, if you do not wake up with intention for the day, if you are not purposely deciding how you want to show up, if you don't have goals or a plan or a minimum of 3 priorities a day, I might suspect that distraction slips in. I was listening to a podcast recently, and they had mentioned that research shows between distractions and social media, the average person wastes 60 minutes a day. Wait, what? 60 minutes a day. If you find yourself saying that there's never enough time, or I don't have time for self-care, for meal prep, for workouts, for meditation, whatever, let me hit you with some math. Now, we are going to assume with this 60 minutes, right? 30 is social media, 30 is on distractions. And let's be honest, how much time are you truly spending, right, on social media? No judgment. I just want you to access yourself and the truth of it. Let's just say we go with the researched average of 60 minutes spent on distractions and social media. That is an equivalent to 420 minutes a week, 7 hours a week, almost a full workday. Now, if that's not impactful enough, let's extrapolate that out for an entire month. That is 3.5 8-hour days a month, just gone. These are days that could have been utilized for productivity, for rest, for energy restoration. Let's play it out for an entire year. Friends, it's 2 months of time in distraction in social media. Think about what you could do if you had 2 more months in every single year. Now, I get it. I know some of you just love your social media, but if you find yourself exhausted, just think about how much recovery, restoration, and productivity could be accomplished. And that is just the temporal exhaustion. It doesn't even account for the emotional clutter, the increase in social comparison, increase in angst, increase in judgments, decrease in self-esteem, decrease in productivity, decrease in our ability to empower ourselves. Whew. I told you I had a lot to say on that. I just want to give you 2 months back, a year. I want to be the one that's like, hey, I get 14 months, right? That's a beautiful gift. The other clutter that I want to talk about just real quick is relational clutter, right? People. Boundaries are your friend, and they are required to protect your energy. We exhaust ourselves in our people pleasing. Committing to things that you really don't want to do, allowing people to take advantage of you because it seems easier. I promise you, it isn't easier. It's just more familiar. We need to be better at setting and holding our boundaries. And if you want to learn more about people pleasing and boundaries, I want to invite you to join us in Becoming next week, or not next week, next month, which I guess is next week, because we're going to break all of these ideas down. Okay, that was how to protect our energy. And in the spirit of spring and spring cleaning, let's declutter our life this month. I would love to hear from you on how your decluttering efforts go. So there's another way to cultivate energy. We just talked about protecting it, but I want to share with you just a few ideas on how to restore it, okay? How are you restoring your energy? Are you creating habits around your sleep, around your nutrition, around your movement, around your supplements, around your self-care routines, journaling, meditating, the 2-minute morning? If you're new to me, part of my morning routine is habit stack around something that we do every single day. Every day we do this for 2 minutes. You guessed it. We brush our teeth. Now, instead of multitasking and wiping counters and selecting your outfit for the day and organizing drawers, you look in the mirror. Yes, you make eye contact with yourself, harder than it seems, and you acknowledge you for 2 minutes. You remind yourself how you're going to show up, not just for the easy stuff, but how are you going to show up when it isn't? How are you going to show up with the difficult coworker, the challenging child, the grumpy spouse, and the critical boss? Who are you going to be in advance of the chaos? These are questions I answer while brushing my teeth. I always find it interesting. We spend the entire day with ourselves, and yet, how often do we actually talk with ourselves. What I find way too often is that we ignore ourselves. I promise you, if you want to cultivate and start cultivating a better relationship with yourself, adopt this 2-minute morning. Friends, it's our responsibility to embrace our inner calm. In order to do this, we have to cultivate it by choosing intentionally how it is that we want to think and feel prior to any chaotic situation. Life happens. Chaos, uncertainty, inevitable. Bathtubs overflow. My brother has seizures. My kids don't do what I ask them to do all the time. Spouses are grumpy. Life happens. My question to you is, will you hold your center? Will you be the calm in the storm? Thanks for being with me here, you guys. I love sharing with you a few ideas in hopes to inspire your journey, in hopes to promote self-mastery, mental strength, emotional well-being, not just for you, but for the social impact and contribution that is influenced by our commitment. If you love this episode, or even just like it, will you do me a favor? Would you share it with some of your favorite people, those people that you want to live and do life with? This movement requires our movement, this movement to become more by being more. I truly believe that together, you and me, we can become more and inspire others to do the same. We can change the world one mindset at a time, starting with ourselves. If you want to take what you're learning to the next level, check me out, www.leahroling.com/becoming. This community needs you. All right. Thanks for being with me, you guys. Have an amazing weekend. See you next Friday, same time, 11 Central. See you soon. You have been listening to the Becoming You show with me, your host, Leah Roling, where I share big ideas to inspire, impact, and influence your life. Tune in every Friday at 11 Central on transformationtalkradio.com for your morning cup of coffee, the hug you never want to end, and that inspirational message that you felt was written just for you. Each show is inspiring you to become you with purpose and intention. For more information or to connect with me, visit www.leahroling.com.